What's up, everybody? Welcome to the BOON podcast, where we are talking Black Next Gen Ministry. What up, Purvey? How you
Yes,
doing,
yes,
bro?
so much. I'm super excited about this. I mean, it's amazing what Boone is going to be. But I'm more excited about talking to you in this environment. You know, we cut up, but we get a chance to
We
like not
do, we do.
much, but to like just talk about ministry and how people can get involved. So I'm super excited.
So let me just start off by saying this, right? Because we're gonna get real comfortable real quick.
Yep.
You put on your real professional voice, right?
Yeah.
You just put on. We just went real. We would press record, and you went real
I mean,
professional,
you know,
right? Let's just.
we know how to code switch. You
There
know?
you go. We code switching up in this thing. But you know what? We creating Boom, so guess what? So we don't have to code switch,
Come
right?
on, let them know. But I mean,
Let the church say what?
amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
My like not controlled voice could be real country, real fly. So this is
Ah,
this this is
that's
this
how
is
they do down in Texas.
yeah, this is the gate. I got to put the gate on me. So
I appreciate the gate because some of you
yeah,
start talking, I don't know what you're talking about.
come on, there we go.
All right. So, for those of you all who don't know, Boon is the Black Next Gen Network. We have created a network for those who are Black that serve in Next Gen ministry. But Next Gen ministry is anywhere from birth through 12th grade, right? Anywhere where you might be in school, right? Well, I guess for some churches might consider Next Gen ministry to be like college age,
Yeah, even
right?
college age too. Yeah, so
Yeah.
right up to about 21.
Okay. Yep. So this is a network for anyone who leads children and youth within a faith-based setting, and you are Black, right? But we also don't discriminate. If you work within a Black church setting, then we welcome you too. We welcome you too. Before we get into deep into Boone and what it all is, because I know some of y'all have heard about Boone, heard us mention Boone, we're going to pull back just a little bit, right? Let's play a little bit of a game. You want to play a game?
Yeah, I've seen this game online. So when you said we were gonna play it, I was actually excited. So I got everything set up right here. So
I do
like,
too. I got it right here too.
I,
We ready?
I may flunk, but I'm having fun flunking. Please. So
Don't get your black. Now, it's not quite black card revoked, but don't get
yeah,
your black card revoked, okay?
it depends on what you pull out. So let's see.
All right, so y'all, it's the game culture tags. Y'all might have played this game before. So how does it work? We're gonna pull a card from a category, and I'm gonna help you. Let me go first, okay?
Okay, I
So
got
what category you want? You want church
you.
words to live by, TV and film, family and friends,
Let's go. Since I'm a church boy, let's go church first.
church.
And we can go church. Let's see how saved I am.
How
How
saved you are.
well
Okay,
how
let's see
I am.
how Black church you are. All right.
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here go the words right here. This is what you say when you are in church and the person who is up in the front and they are giving a word and it is dynamic, it is amazing.
Oh,
Everybody's standing up and they just out there like, come on, you, or dang, I said it.
put the letters back.
Go ahead.
Let me see them letters real quick. There we go. You better preach. There we go.
You better preach. You better preach, preacher. Preach.
Yeah, you better preach. Yeah. So yeah, it got me fired up. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So
What you got for me?
I'm going songs and lyrics for you.
Okay.
I'll go songs and lyrics. So
Wait, you know I don't really know music like that.
well, let's see.
Hopefully it's an easy one.
This is a very, let me see. Yeah, this is yeah,
You my brother, don't let me fail. I'm gonna get it. Okay.
Beyonce did a whole rendition of it. It was a dance behind it.
Keep going.
No, that's wrong beat.
Wait.
Come on. Dun, 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 dun. What is it?
BILG. Oh my gosh.
I'll give you the first word. B4.
Oh, you know what? That's because I wasn't digging that Beyonce version. Before I let go, I do not like it.
There you go. Every Black Picnic.
Every Black picnic, but you know what? We ain't listening to Beyonce's version in my house. That's not how we training up my children in the way that they should go. That ain't what we doing. All right, I'm gonna give you TV and films for the next one, okay?
That's right.
Okay. Oh, it's from the movie Friday. Can you see it?
Let me see.
HYGFOYDO. They're asking, it's a question mark at the end. They're asking a question about something that happened when somebody wasn't there. And
how you can get fired on your day off?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
All right, so you did TV and film. I'm gonna go family and friends.
All right.
All right, so this one is if you had a black mama, your black mama asked you this question, and you
Okay.
act like you didn't hear her.
Oh, wait. Don't you hear me calling you?
Yeah.
Don't you hear me calling you? Oh, but for my in my house, I add a boy or a girl on the end. So don't you hear me calling you boy, or don't you hear me calling you girl?
Yep. There you go. Yeah. So
That's what's up. That's fun. That's a fun game. Y'all haven't checked it out. This is not a commercial. We don't get paid, but maybe we should get paid for playing this game. But check
I
it
mean,
out if you
I
haven't.
think the more we do this, and the more you guys watch, ads, we'll get
Ads,
some
yeah.
sponsorships.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We'll take some sponsorships.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah. So let's shift a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Boone
yeah,
and what we hear
let's
today.
let's talk about it because like great things come from great minds, right? And I think you
Mm-hmm.
have one of the greatest minds I've ever met. And I'm not just saying that because
Mm-hmm.
we're on camera on the podcast, whatever. I really mean that. You're a dope sister. So when it comes to
Mm.
Boone, like where did it come from? How did it even come about?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Thanks for that compliment. I appreciate it. Um, so I've been in ministry for the past 17 years. 13 of those years were spent within serving in the local church. And the past four, I've served as a youth ministry coach and consultant with Orange. And through the work that I've done, I've been a part of a lot of conferences, training events. I've been a part of a ton of camps. And this is not me saying this, but by no means don't hear me saying it's a kind of braggadocious kind of way. It's just, you know, life's journey, right? Camps, trainings, retreats. And the landscape is just dominated.
Yeah.
And on that national level, we go to these national, quote unquote, national conferences or these national trainings, and the landscape is tremendously just dominated by white people. And
Yeah.
and it led me to just wondering if this is supposed to be what it looks like on a national level, then or is it really? So, also one of the challenges that I've seen from a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people experience, not just through the organization where I work, but through other organizations, is people are always trying to figure out how to have access to leaders of color. People
Mm,
would have a hard time finding them when they're looking for people to hire for different events, for podcasts when it comes to writing, or even just to evaluate different resources that they're creating. People have a hard time finding leaders of color, and I'm black, and it's one of those things where you handle what you can handle. You contribute in the ways that you can contribute, and you control what you can control. And I can't necessarily speak for all people of color. Not that I can speak for all black people, but this is just one of those things that came about because of just seeing what's out there, especially in the leadership space. If
mhm.
you look at all these organizations and leadership is even white male dominant. By no means is this meant to knock any of our, white colleagues in ministry. This is more about providing some sort of a equality, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, about providing some equality for it.
So like that's super dope. And I think it's one of those areas of church we really need to focus on is the next gen leader space, right? Because
Hmm.
we for so long what we've done in the black church is just put the cool person back there with the kids and
Talk
kind of
about
like
it.
do some glorified babysitting service, right? But we're in an age now where we really see, and I think a lot of senior leaders even see the need to have equipped, qualified people in that next gen space.
Hmm.
As we say next gen, we got to like break down what next gen is, right? So
Yeah.
so a next gen leader works with kids, teens, or college students, right? It's that age
Hmm.
between birth and 18, 19, some even in the early 20s, right? But
Right.
it's the gap where you are pouring into kids, students, and parents and making sure that there is a seamless move of discipleship and equipping and faith-based information in that age gap. And what we're saying is that we don't have enough black leaders that are available to really speak into this space or not really available to connect with other black leaders to even see what's going on. So what I hear you
Mhm.
saying is that Boone was created out of a necessity for black next gen leaders to have other Black next gen leaders to connect with, do community with,
Absolutely.
and so the nation can see, or people can see actually what the Black church does in that space.
Absolutely, and that's actually you said born out of necessity. That's what BOON stands for.
Yep.
Now, a boon is defined as a thing that's useful and beneficial, right? But beyond that, BOON is our acronym for born out of necessity, and that's what we desire to be: just a network, a community that was born out of necessity for our Black leaders who serve in who serve in next gen ministry within a faith-based setting. Whether you serve within a faith-based setting in a school, a church, an organization, some other kind of nonprofit, we welcome you into this space. And also for those who serve predominantly Black children and youth within a faith-based setting, because we know that, hey, not everybody who's serving within a predominantly Black setting, not everybody is Black. So we just
Yeah.
want to welcome them into this space too.
Oh, don't fly by that. 'Cause I think that's very important. You
Yeah.
just said for anybody who works in a Black faith-based setting, right? So that kind of ties into like the why BOON
Mm-hmm.
is needed, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we have Black leaders, but we also have leaders that work in Black contexts. And I'm gonna go left and come back right. Okay.
Okay.
If you work in a Black context, you have to know about the Black kids you work with,
Talk about it. That's
right?
why we extended it, because I'm going
Right.
to cut you off, but like, 'cause when we
You're
had
good.
these conversations, and you've been a part of the conversations from, I mean, the jump since the early, we've been talking about this for a long time, about a year now. And initially were trying to define who our target audience was going to be. And we initially said, hey, we just want to have it for Black leaders. But then we realized that, no, we have to open this up, because there are people who aren't Black who are
Yeah.
serving our Black children in these
Like,
predominantly Black churches. And this is a huge piece of, if you look at, just the children and youth ministries, next gen ministries, I probably use those kind of interchangeably, y'all. But if you look at Black church children and youth ministries, some are doing extremely well, and
mhm.
some are struggling. Some are struggling. But if you look at the Black church in general, as a whole, we'll have a conversation in a few episodes on some data and some trends within the Black church. But if you think about the Black church, how can we contribute towards the future of the Black church? And contributing towards the future of the Black church looks like pouring into and supporting and doing things for the next generation,
Yeah.
for our children and for our youth that are a part of these ministries. So this is our contribution to the future. That's how I
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw you a curveball, but I know you can handle it, right? So
Okay.
talking to some next gen leaders, and like on the felt needs of like what they need, right? And so just talking to some next
Mm.
gen leaders in the organization in which I work with, one of the needs was, how do I get my hands on resources that are for my community, right? And so and how do I get resources that speak to my community and the kids that I serve?
And that's a good question, Purvey. I think that one of the desires for us to do within Boone is, I've been working really hard to partner with different organizations. I've got connections with a lot of different next gen faith based organizations that are out there, and I've been trying to do the work to just partner, because I think that there's a lot of great resources that exist out there that some people just don't know about,
Right.
right? And it's a lot of people who are creating content and resources and things that speak to different types of settings, whether you work in a suburban setting, whether you work in an urban setting, whether you have predominantly Black children and youth within your ministries, or whether you're more of a multicultural mix. There's great resources that are out there, but sometimes people just don't always know about them or have access to them. So at Boone, my goal is for us to serve as like a hub
Yeah.
where we have access to, and we connect people with a ton of different resources that are out there, connect people with a ton of different organizations and conferences and things that are out there, and just make them accessible, right? Every month, my goal is for us to do is, every month we're going to highlight a different topic. So whether we're talking about volunteers, providing a resource list of different resources that are out there for volunteers, whether we're talking about partnering with parents or supporting families, family unit, providing a resource list of organizations and resources that have great resources that are great for partnering with parents and supporting families. But the reality also is, there are some resources out there that let's put it like this. There's some resources out there that it might be great, but they might need to be contextualized. Because if you think about all these organizations that are creating content, they're creating them at a mass scale, right?
Yep.
And most organizations are not creating for a unique particular audiences. They're creating for a mass scale, because if you create for a mass scale, then that means that your audience can be broader, which
Right.
means that revenue can be broader too. So some leaders are looking for things that they can just plug and play. But the reality is most resources that you get are not going to be plug and play. Nothing is meant to be plug and play. You're going to have to contextualize some things if we really, really want it to be uniquely for the families and the children and the youth that we serve.
Right.
So our mission of strategy within Boon is we're going to be working with leaders to help them to know how to contextualize the resources that are out there for their church context.
And I'm gonna tell you why that's so needed. Before I ask you this other question, I'm gonna say why that's so needed. So what's so dope is we are now being ushered into I want to say Gen Z will be the
Mm-hmm.
most diverse generation we've ever seen.
That's right.
Right.
And
And
Gen
so
Alpha is even more
right.
better. Yeah.
So what happens is when we take black leaders and we contextualize information or we create our own and we network with each other and things like that, there will be a need from other cultures to see how we operate and what we do, because there will be a need to work with kids of color and kids
Mm-hmm.
who are mixed, kids who are in blended situations. And I think what the black church does and what the black church gives is so needed in culture right now, and is so needed
Mm-hmm.
in our world because we've always had a family environment. We've always had a blended environment. We've always had something to give that could help in a mixed situation
Mm-hmm.
or a colorful situation, if you will, right?
That's
And,
right.
and so I think that's beautiful that Boone offers that, but also when it comes to like a felt need, there's a young lady I talked to who's a next gen leader here in Texas, and we were discussing um, how ministry can sometimes be a male dominated uh,
Mm.
environment.
Hello,
and,
sister. I
and,
feel
and
you.
and so how will Boone help me as a woman um, feel comfortable in what seemingly is a male dominated environment? Will I see other women and other sisters of color that I can network with and join in with?
Who am I? I am black and I am woman, and hear
Yeah,
me roar,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The best way to respond to that is to the third piece of our mission. But our mission is to equip Black churches and leaders to cultivate thriving children and youth ministries by providing inclusive community, culturally responsive ministry strategy. That's what I just talked about, right? And opportunities for an amplified influence. So if you look at our mission, you're pulling out, backing out from there, looking at, we got three things in there. We've got community. That's what the network is, providing community. And then we have strategy. That's what I just talked about before. And then we have opportunities for an amplified influence. So just opportunity. So community, strategy, and opportunity, right? Um, Through partnering with these different organizations that I've been reaching out to and trying to collaborate with, like I said, people are always looking for leaders to be able to hire, to get on a podcast, to write, to do a number of different things for them, evaluate their resources, but people have a hard time finding them, right? So one of the things that we'll be rolling out probably honestly in the fall is some sort of a leadership development piece where we actually be walking with leaders, because the truth of the matter is, now let's be real, right? So we're building Boone, and we want to keep Boone's names good in these streets, right? I ain't
yeah.
trying to send somebody out there connecting with an organization, and any of us
Right,
have done our hard work to
right.
connect a relationship with, whether it's a church even, or a school, or a nonprofit organization, whatever it is, right? We've done the work to build these relationships. We want to make sure when we send people out there that people are equipped.
That's
So when
dope.
we roll out, yeah, when we roll out, we won't necessarily be rolling out with this initially. This is more of something we're rolling out within the fall. It's leadership development and giving you opportunities to really, really just enhance your skills and sharpen the tools and the giftedness that you already feel that you already have. Right? We got a lot of great talent out there, whether
Yeah,
you are male or female. It's a lot of good talent that's out there, And I think sometimes we don't necessarily. Um, think that we can do things because we haven't seen people like us do them,
right.
right?
Yeah.
You was going to jump in there.
I
Go
said,
ahead.
we haven't seen people like us do it because we haven't been exposed, right? I,
That's
I,
right.
I believe that exposure expels ignorance. that the more you're exposed to, the less
Whew.
ignorant you are, right? So,
Yep,
so it's so important that Black leaders have a community of other Black leaders that can help
that's
build
right.
them. I know you've seen it, right? I know you've seen some of us embarrass us in certain circles and spaces because not because they don't have good hearts, but they don't have the right information.
That's
And
right.
you don't have the right
Uh-huh.
information, what's in you comes out of you, right? And if you don't have nothing
Yeah.
in you, what comes out of you sounds jumbled, it sounds aggressive, it sounds
It's
uninformed.
that
All
Yeah, it's mentoring. It's like some people just need mentoring. I think about
absolutely.
it like this. When I first got into ministry, right? I jumped into ministry fresh out of college, right? I went to FAMU youth. All my rattlers out there, strike, strike, and strike again. So I, felt my call to ministry my senior year in college, and I jumped into ministry. I go right from undergrad, go right to seminary. Right, I accepted my call in April. By December, in December of that same year, I was preaching my initial sermon. Right,
Wow.
and if you look at the video, it's out there somewhere in this world wide web. It ain't on YouTube, y'all, so don't go looking on YouTube. But
I was about to
in
say,
my and no, it ain't on YouTube. In my initial sermon, you will see me reach down and take off my shoes, right? And I reached down and I took off my shoes because that's what my mother in the ministry, the one who had been mentoring me, that's what she did. She preached with
wow.
no shoes on. And I stood up behind the lectern and I'm like, I standing there and I prayed. And then after I prayed, I was like, okay, maybe I need to take my shoes off. And I reached down and I took them off, right? Thinking that, this is probably what I needed to do, just trying it on for size because it was her. It was what she was doing. It was a person that was mentoring me. She never told me to take my shoes off.
Right,
I was
right.
mimicking what it was that I saw, and I did that for a while until one day I realized I'm not taking my shoes off because I don't need to. Right? It's
Wow.
not a part of who I am. It's not what I need. It's not my identity as I stand
Yeah.
up and preach. Right? And I think a lot of times we try different things on for size because we've seen other people do it. You could even talk about how you might see like we talk about this, Purvey, about the posture that some people have
Yeah.
when they stand,
Yeah.
about how they might look when they are standing at a lectern, the way that they might even talk on a microphone, right? There, a lot of times we imitate what it is that we've seen, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just that we're doing what it is that we've seen other people do, and we don't haven't
Right.
necessarily discovered our own voice and found our own identity in who we are as a minister or who we are as called by God or who we are as we're walking into this.
You took standing flat footed preaching literally. I love it. I,
Stupid.
I love it. I love it. But it's like, but I think
Did
like
Moses take off his shoes because it was holy ground? I thought that's what I needed, bro.
but it's so I think when you're in your 20s, you're trying to figure out what it is you're doing.
Uh-huh.
In your 30s, well, in your 20s, trying to figure out what it is you're doing, and you're sounding like your mentor.
That's right.
In your 30s, you've gotten more comfortable about what you're doing, so you're starting to find your voice. By your 40s,
Mm-hmm.
you're comfortable in your voice and you're building on that, right? By your 50s, you are very sure and you're beginning to
Mm-hmm.
legacy of your voice. By the time you're 60, like you are mentoring those who have heard your voice. So all we're doing is building a network to wherever you are in your age and stage of leadership, you can find your place, know what you need, and you have other beautiful Black people that are doing what you're doing, and you're not out here by yourself. That's
Yep.
why. That's why
Yep.
I'm here. Because
Yeah.
I'm tired of going into spaces, not seeing people that look like me. But more important, sometimes I get tired because some Black leaders just think they got to be aggressive and tell white people that America, was built on slaves and they real aggressive and you ain't got to do all that, bro. It's a way to
Yeah.
tailor your words to get your message across to help people understand you, so we can all be in this together and you can
That's
learn.
right.
We can learn from each other. I love it.
That's right. Because if they can't hear you, then is it a point in talking? If people can't hear you, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
So with everything that's going on with BOON, and I'm hearing about it, and I love it, and I'm speaking as somebody watching this podcast. How do I get connected with BOON and all these great leaders that we've been talking about?
Oh, that's good. Okay. So right now what we have is a Facebook group because a huge piece of Boon is one, our community, right? The Boon community. That is our Facebook group right now. We're connecting on a national level on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, go to the Boon community. Or if you can't find it on Facebook, go to thebooncommunity.com. And on that website, you can find out how to have access to our Facebook group. We're going to roll out some local networks next year in 2024. We got to have some time to build that up, build our national community before we branch out and get things going on a local level. But on the local level, we'll just have opportunities for leaders to get together based on your area, wherever you are, help people to connect, help to facilitate some of those connections and make it easier for Black leaders or those who serve Black children and youth to be able to have access to each other and get together to start building some community, because we are stronger together.
Yeah.
We really are. Also, if you want to learn more about BOON, this is a mini series podcast, y'all. Let's just be really, really real. This is a mini series podcast. We are doing 5 episodes. I am not trying to commit. Purvey, you trying to commit to a whole podcast right now? You already got a whole other one.
I mean, it's this, we're in podcast world, so I can add this
We
to
are.
my list, because
We'll
it's
see.
so needed. So here's what you're going to find out. You're going to find out people are going to listen to this episode. They're going to listen to the next few episodes, and then they'll be like, okay, I'm a part of BOON, and I want to hear from some of these leaders periodically. So can y'all do a podcast?
Okay. Well, if y'all want, listen, by demand, we'll do it by demand. If people want to hear it by demand, then we will do it. If you want to hear it,
the people want the song.
People want the song. Then leave us a review, okay? Wherever you get your podcast, leave us a review so that we can know that you are out there and you want to hear more things like this. But this is the first episode. Right now, we're planning on doing 5. We can see what the Lord may lead us, let the Spirit guide us as we continue in our endeavors. But throughout the course of this series, this podcast series, you're going to hear from some phenomenal leaders. We have an amazing lineup of people who are going to be on this podcast. We're just going to journey through some history when it comes to next gen ministries and organizations, or even just the world of Black church and children and youth ministry. And then we're going to venture into, some things that are essential for us to thrive together, because we are stronger together, so yeah. So just journey with us and be ready for this podcast that we got going.
So see, I need you to do something for me before we land the plane. I need you to do something, because there are some leaders that are watching this podcast that feel like they are out here by themselves. So we've talked about it before in offline conversations, but can you just pour into the leaders that are watching right now and just let them know from your heart and the heart of BOON, like, why they're needed in this network?
Like I said when I first jumped in, I have been serving in children's youth ministry for a while, and I've been serving as a youth ministry, in particular, coach for the past 4 years. And through my job, I have an opportunity to talk with a lot of people. When people are in these different places, and I can see the energy and the way that people navigate and the challenges that people have, right? And it's not even just the challenges, because there's some people out there who are killing the game and they know what they're doing and they are just doing phenomenal. And we need each other in a different kind of way. If we are in a majority setting, it's sometimes easy to feel invisible, but we're not. We are needed in this community because our voices are stronger together. I have a buddy of mine who's going to be on one of our podcast episodes in a few episodes. And we first met when I was serving down in South Florida. He served at a church up the street from me. I'm ordained in AME church. He used to. And every so often when we talk, he'll text me and he'll say, same team. And I'll unpack that a little bit more in episode 3. But we are on the same team, regardless of what denomination we might be, regardless of what state we might be in, regardless of if one person serves in kids ministry and somebody else serves in youth ministry, or somebody else does it all, regardless of when one person is a volunteer and somebody else gets paid to serve at the church full time. We are on the same team. And it's really, really time that we start acting like it. And what does it look like for us to act like it? It's for us to be in community, and it's for us to be in relationship, and it's for us to know each other, right? You in Texas, me in Georgia, right? It's time for us to really be like, what you got going on? I got a question. Let me reach out to you and just build a stronger community. So that's why we're needed, because we can't do this alone. What we're going to hear on the next episode is a little bit of the history of what has happened over the years of different people who have tried to bring community around Black next gen leaders, and why it has failed in the past. And it's failed in the past a huge part because we haven't supported each other,
Yeah.
right? So what does it really look like for us to come together and support each other? Boone is a nonprofit. I'm not making any money off of this, y'all. Purvey isn't either. If anything, it's draining the bank. So it's not like we're trying to get rich off of this or anything. We're doing this because we see the need for it and the way that we can resource each other. And it's not like we got all the answers, because we don't. This is more so about how can we help each other? How can the community that we have thrive upon itself?
That's, yo, I'll say this in response to that, and I'm not gonna put nothing on it. I'm gonna put the little leaf on top of the cake that you just baked, right? There was a
Who
guy that
wants leaves on cakes?
on the little cheesecake, the little leaf they put on there with the strawberries and the little aesthetic coloring
We want
leaf.
powdered sugar. We want all the
So,
sweets.
but there was a guy that played basketball on my college team, and this particular season the team was great, and the
Mhm.
guy never really got any playing time, but when he did, he performed. But they asked him in an interview one time. They said, "Why do you play ball for this team?" He said, "Man, I
Mm.
just love being on the team. I love
Mm.
team. I love my teammates. I love what they allow me to bring to the table, and I love watching them win." Right. So I say this to everything you just said. For me, I love being on this team, a team of
Mm.
people who love Christ. And no matter what part I play, no matter how many minutes I get, that's not my concern. The fact that we are winning together, we are playing together, we're on the same team, which is why I'm here and which is why I want every Black leader to be a part of this network, because it's not about us, it's about us, right?
Mm.
And we want to see everybody
That's right.
win. And I'm just excited about where we go.
Yeah, because look, you win, I win. Right?
Absolutely.
I got you, I got us. We in this
Come on.
together. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
So we know what's next. We got 5 episodes. So this is
5
one of five.
episodes.
One of
This
five.
is 1 of 5.
And y'all are going to watch these 5 so much to where you're going to demand we do at least 5 more. And we can chop it up into seasons. I'm speaking that into existence. Candice, receive that in your spirit. But
I'm open to what the Lord has for me. I'm open to what the Lord has for me.
but I'm so excited to be on this journey with you, sis. I'm so excited. It's so excited to have these amazing conversations with the guests that we're going to have. And even if it's 5, it's going to be the best 5 ever, because I get to rock with my sis. I get to have
That's right,
conversations
bro.
that we get a chance to have offline. We get to have them online. And I'm excited about Boone. I'm excited about doing this with you, and I'm excited about who else we're going to talk to. So yeah.
All right. All right, y'all. Y'all want to get connected with Boone? Go to thebooncommunity.com and check out how to access our Facebook group to get connected to the community that's over there. Thank y'all for joining. Purvey, bro, I love you, man. Thank you
Yo,
for doing this with me.
I got you. Tell Max and the kids
Thank
I said what's
you.
up.
I will. And like, want to give a shout out to also Ashley Johnson, who's in the background producing this whole thing for us. Hey, girl. All right, y'all.
Even digital peace signs.
Digital peace signs. All right, y'all. That's a wrap.